Hey guys, what's going on? This is Entrepreneur Nation, and right now we have a best-selling author, super sports agent, a personal mentor, a great individual, a humanitarian, literally someone here who's on a mission to solve this happiness dilemma that many of us are seeing, especially in the corporate world. And he has one of the top rated podcasts called The Playbook, which is being worked on as we speak because he's putting on more and more episodes. You can check it out on his social channels. So we got David Meltzer, and I have to tell you, I first met him because of his first book, and I'm glad to meet him again because we're going to talk, among other things, his second book. And for people who are seeing our behind the scenes content on our social, it's called Game Time Decision Making. But this is insane. He has Tillman Fertitta, chairman of Landry's, the guy who owns the Rockets, arguably just an amazing entrepreneur of entrepreneurs. How you doing, bro?
Awesome, man. Thank you so much.
So, why did you first decide to do this book? What did you feel you needed to do?
I read an article that an average American is happy 15 days a year.
Wow.
And it blew me away. And then I read another article that the number one cause of death for people under 50 was suicide. And I've been around, I have 3 teenage daughters, and more they're talking about different types of drug incidences, alcohol incidences, and then depression. And there's all these TV shows about depression and all these healing drugs about depression. And I just said to myself, you know what? My life has been extraordinary because I've made one decision. And I believe it's the ultimate mindset you should have is I made a decision to be happy. Now, I've made other decisions in my life, some that have made me millions and millions of dollars and some that has lost me millions and millions of dollars. So I decided to write a book that took a pre-game analysis of what lessons that I've learned in order to make happy decisions, whether it be about making more money, helping more people, or having more fun, and then use the stories and lessons from the super sports stars that I've worked with, and there's everyone, man. There's Tom Brady and Apollo Ono and, some of the executives like Tillman Fertitta, like you said, and other owners and Sugar Ray Leonard and all their stories, and then do a post-game analysis that analyzes the lessons that we've learned through those stories. People are emotionally attached to sports, which is how I've made my money over the last 2 decades, and I wanted to use that emotional attachment so that people can have a shared vision. I've written actually 3 books, 2 by myself, like you said.
Yeah.
Connected to Goodness, which was about people getting what they wanted,
Yep.
right? Manifesting what you wanted, like the Think and Grow Rich book. Blaine Bartlett and I wrote Compassionate Capitalism together to change people's values, shift their values so that they help people. This is where they make a lot of money, help a lot of people come.
Mm-hmm.
And then for charity, Jack Canfield and I wrote Be Unstoppable for the Unstoppable Foundation with Cynthia Kersey, How to Create the Life You Love, which is more for millennials or anyone that just wants a short workbook on how to create a life you love. So through that 3-book progression, I said, man, now all that data, all that information leads to one thing. Can I impact 1 billion people on earth to be happy? And so I'm a math person, and I said to myself, how can I do that? Well, that book allows me, if I can just get 1,000 people, no, a lot more have sold, but if I get 1,000 people really to understand the book and empower another 1,000 people, that would be 1 million people. But if that book and my talking and videos and coaching if I can find what I call the Meltzer 1,000, 1,000 people that not only read that book are dedicated to how and what it does to impact 1,000 people, to teach those 1,000 to impact another 1,000, 1,000 times 1,000 is 1 million, 1 million times 1,000 is 1 billion.
Whoa.
I actually have a mathematical way through that book, Game Time Decision Making, to empower others to be happy. And I really believe that if I can impact 1 billion people on earth to be happy, this world would be a lot different.
How do you stay happy on a day-to-day level? Like, how someone might ask that in case they want to say, okay, before I dive into this and get what do you do?
So I believe first of all you have to break a day down into 2 different mindsets. The first is you only take one action in the day, and that action should be to connect to that which inspires you, to be at peace. You got to find center. That's the first mindset that you should do every day. Your first thing before you do anything else. That's why I meditate.
Yep.
But it's full of different prayers, like may God put 10 people in front of me that can help. I put all different prayers of, may I give $100 of value and get 20 back all day long. May I be healthy, happy. I pray for people's happiness. All this is in the light of gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, and inspiration. Now, that's the first mindset. The second mindset is how am I going to react? And I have a simple second mindset. The first mindset, I'm going to be at peace, inspired, know where that place is. The second mindset is when things are not at peace, when I'm in ego-based consciousness, they need to be right, offended, separate, inferior, superior, anxious, frustrated, angry, attacking, fearful, whatever may put you off of center. Whenever I'm in the ego-based consciousness, a state of mind that is creating interference with my peace or a corrosion of my peace, my second mindset is go back to center. So I've created a system in a philosophy that's really simple. First, find your center. Then the second mindset is be aware of when you're not at center and go back to center. I call it stop, drop, and roll. Why? Because if somebody's angry, right, their mind is on fire, their body's on fire, and their soul's on fire.
Yeah.
Physically, I can prove it to you. You get angry, your blood pressure will go up physically, your mind will be out of control, and your emotions, right?
Yeah.
Your mind, body, soul. So what were we taught when we were little kids? If you catch on fire, stop, drop, and roll. So I teach people in the book, look, make the decision when you feel you're on fire, stop, find your trajectory of center, right? Drop down your fire, cool yourself down, and then roll in the right direction towards what you want. What happens is when people make bad decisions based off of ego-based consciousness, they project their insecurities, they do fearful, attacking, angry things. Not only do they go on the wrong trajectory, but they accelerate in the wrong trajectory. I'll tell you why, and I talk about it in the book. Fear is misunderstood.
Okay.
So many people think that fear motivates them. A lot of people, especially athletes, will tell me fear motivates them. I disagree. Fear can't motivate you because it's a depreciator. It's a soul sucker. It takes all your energy away. But what fear does that confuses people is it focuses us. In fact, fear can hyper-focus us, which creates a result when we're hyper-focused. So what I teach in game time decision making is to find a substitute for focus. Consistent, persistent behavior. So I talk about enjoying being happy, enjoying the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential, whatever that potential might be. And I teach you how to do things consistently, like lowering the bar, making sure that you have a accountability partner, all the things that athletes have done for years, sports executives, coaches have taught for years. Now I put it all there in a very simple format of a pregame analysis, the stories of the great legends of sports, as well as a postgame analysis to remind you exactly what to do.
So I have one more question about meditation, because that's something you and I jive with. We've jived for many years about this, and then we'll get into your filming tomorrow and some of the other things that you're doing. Do you feel there is a lack of meditation in, like, let's say the business circles or other circles that you're trying to address with this book? Because you mentioned meditation ad nauseum, and it's like in a passionate way, and your programs are meditation. What do you think about meditation outside of the traditional meditation studio woo-woo kind of sense?
Yeah, well, I think meditation and manifestation are two words that scare away your typical corporate executive and management. So I try not to use those words quite as much, right? Because I use, instead of manifestation, I use the word shopping. Right? I really do, because I believe there's two different currencies. You know, one is money. It's an object of energy, what we put in the flow, and you can shop for what you want with money. And if you shop for the right things, you're going to be happy, and if you shop for the wrong things, you won't be. Well, faith is another currency. It's an object of energy in which you put towards what you want. It's what you think, say, do, believe in the unconscious competencies of your personality traits, characteristics, obsessions, and addictions that create an energy that shop for what we want. So some of the problems that people have, and it's in the book as well, is we start putting faith into what we don't want, and when we get it, we're surprised. Where if you went to McDonald's, right, and you ordered what you didn't want, you wouldn't be surprised when you got a quarter pounder with cheese when you ordered a Big Mac, when you wanted a Big Mac. But for some reason, human beings, when they're making decisions, their mom's telling them what to do, and their friends are telling them what they can't do, and you're putting faith into what other people want for you, and even if you get what they want, you're resentful that you got it, the same way you'd be pissed off if your mom went to McDonald's and got you a quarter pounder with cheese instead of a Big Mac. That's what happens in life. So I think, you know, understanding and putting the verbiage, these ideas, meditation is simply being at center. At peace. Right? So I teach people to get at peace. There's a variety of ways that are meditative, but don't think about it in that way. Don't think about manifestation in that way. Think about, Dave's going to teach you to be at peace and shop for what you want and get what you want. Which is happiness.
I love that. I love that. So I saw an Instagram ad, and your Instagram ad was very compelling, of you Bob Proctor, who's a legend in the self-help world, Les Brown are doing a shoot tomorrow. This interview is
And
airing.
Mary Morrissey.
And Mary Morrissey. Oh my goodness. What is this project about?
So I was asked by WGN and their producers to be on a TV show, The World's Greatest Motivators. And so I'm actually going to be the first episode, and they're going to gather the Les Browns, the Reverend Beckwiths, the Tony Robbins of the world, and just to be, it's a dream come true. It's proof of what I teach, that these are my mentors, right? They're not the young entrepreneurial mentors. I was with Gary Vee last Friday promoting my book, and a huge fan, and we co-mentor each other, but there's still a difference between a Bob Proctor at 85.
Yeah, he's more like a fellow hustler you learn from, but he's not your mentor. I get it.
Yeah, well, he does mentor me in social media, because I think he knows about as much about digital marketing and social media of a personal brand that Bob Proctor knows about life.
Fair enough.
But Bob Proctor knows about life. Les Brown knows about life. Mary Morrissey knows about life, and all the rest that are joining us. So we are filming the first 4 episodes at the Newport Beach Country Club tomorrow, all day, for America's Greatest Motivators, to be seen on WGN this fall, and you'll see a lot more great minds, thought leaders that can help inspire you, and it's a lot more fun than a book to do something on TV that can be also amplified and perpetuated on digital media.
Okay. When you said something just now that like, hey, this is like a dream come true because of the work you do. What do you mean? Like, what have you been doing? You felt that helped lead you to this? Because I want people to learn from you that you talk about manifestation, but you're living proof with
shopping.
Shopping.
Everybody gets shopping.
Yeah, the shopping factor, and walk us through some of the steps you took in your career to lead to that, to get on a TV show. That's pretty legit.
Yeah, so I always I never limited my point of entry. So I went to first wanted to go to med school, realized I hated hospitals, so I went to law school. I reverse engineered. Most people don't know this, but I reverse engineered what law school I went to because I wanted to make money.
Okay.
So I went to the law school that had the highest paying jobs, which was oil and gas litigator. Tulane University has the top maritime law school, taught civil and common law. But I ended up going once again, not limiting my point of entry. Right, I go to law school instead of SC or Georgetown or one of the other ones I got into. I go to Tulane. Most people in California are like, where's that?
Yeah.
But still a top 20 great law school, specific to one thing. Then I don't limit my point of entry when I graduate law school because I do get an oil and gas job, but I end up going into the internet. Even though my mom told me the internet was going to be a fad, and I didn't put faith into what I didn't want. Wow. Right, I put faith in the internet, and I ended up being a millionaire 9 months out of law school. Once again, keeping my point of entry open, I started branding myself as an internet guru. As the internet boom happened, Accenture, Anderson Consulting, hired me to go to the Silicon Valley. I learned how to raise money, another type of sales job. I was consistently changing what I was selling. Once again, not limiting my point of entry. Then I moved on and became CEO of the world's first smartphone, the PC-E phone. It was a Windows CE device. Once again, I went from internet into the middleware space, transcoding the internet onto WAP phones and Palm 7s, into the hardware space.
Sounds like your shopping cart gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah, so I just not limiting my point of entry, just continuing on. Then I go from there, become my own investor, have my construction business, real estate development business, own a golf course, a ski mountain, never limiting my point of entry. Then I meet Lee Steinberg, and because of this variety of skill sets that I have, because I've been a customer of Lee's and other people like Lee, he hired me in 48 hours of meeting me without ever applying for a job or giving me my resume to be the COO, to take over for Jeff Morad, the world's most famous, notable sports agency, which within 6 months I became the CEO, which then, still not limiting my point of entry, I completely switched from sports agentry, where me and my partner Warren Moon, who are partners with Lee, spin off Sports One Marketing, which is now a global marketing company specifically for advertising, marketing, media, and then 3 years ago, spin off even farther using and leveraging this philosophy and building my own brand.
Yeah.
Building my own brand, having the confidence. Now, none of it would happen except for one. And I lost, by the way, when I got my job at Lee Steinberg about 9 months into it, I lost over $100 million of all my wealth, in literally because I made bad decisions and assumptions and shot for the wrong things. But moreover, it's interesting because through the whole time, the one thing I beat people with is I definitely could work as hard, if not harder, than anyone.
Yeah.
Right? 16-hour days of productivity. I definitely could work as smart, if not smarter, than everyone. But the thing that I do, and Gary Vaynerchuk does it as well, is I've always worked long. Now, working long is a perception, right? Gary's building his sports agency, which is why, I consult for him with the sports agency, and he didn't care that he wasn't going to get a quarterback for 5 years. He's working long. He knows eventually that these kids that are 16, 17, 18, 19 that are his fans are going to graduate as quarterbacks of Alabama and Ohio State. And when they do, they love Gary Vee. They're not going to care what their parents think, right? They're not going to go with Lee Steinberg anymore, or David Dunn, or Bruce Dolan, or all my friends. They're not going to go there. They're going to go with Gary Vee. He's thinking long. He thought long. It was in his personality, and so was mine. One of my favorite stories of someone thinking long is when Gary goes to junior high school and he's trying to sell baseball cards to the cute girls, and his friend's like, "Dude, you just blew your entire image and career their first day in junior high school. You're trying to sell girls baseball cards." He didn't care. He's playing the long game, right? He knew that he made enough money, helped enough people, became a great guy, that every beautiful woman in the world would want to be and go out with Gary. And it happened in the 8th grade that they wouldn't date him because he liked baseball cards and video games and the Jets and hockey and World Wrestling Federation, all the funny things that make Gary Gary.
Yeah.
But he has a beautiful wife and a beautiful family, and had no problem getting any of them. I think long, and let me just give a brief lesson, because even asked, you might learn something here.
Yeah.
Here's what happens to people. Say you're 20 years old and you drop out of college because you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
College means nothing to you because there's nothing more to learn.
Yeah.
When you're 30 years old, you've worked 10 years, you might be 25% of the way where you thought you would be. 99% of the people quit when they're 30 years old.
Yeah.
1% last, and the reason they quit is they start putting faith in what other people think.
Yep, that's true.
Now, here's the sad thing. If they play long and all they look at is acceleration and growth, they look at, am I improving? Am I getting better? Maybe it takes them 5 more years to get to 50%. So now they're 35 years old, and only, once again, 1% of the 1% don't quit. Why? Because they put faith in what other people think, right? Their girlfriend now wants another job. They have built skill sets over this 15 years. They have other opportunities. They put faith in what other people want. Now, the 1% of the 1%, because they're focused on the long game, they work long. What they do is in 2.5 years, right? 10 years, 5 years, 2.5, they're at 100%.
Wow.
Now they're winners.
Yeah.
At 37.5, you go from, courage dropping out of college to loser at 30 to the biggest loser at 35 to a winner at 37.5. But what's cool about 37.5 is 2.5 years from then, right? You go from 1 3/4, even before you're 40.
Yeah.
Now you're 200%.
Wow.
Now you're lucky. You're not a winner. You're lucky. But then, just 3/4 of a year later, just when you're turning 40, you're now super, right? And then 3/8 of a year later, you're even better. And 3/16 of a year later, even better. 3/32. That's how Jeff Bezos, by the time he was 25 years in, was a $100 billionaire. When everybody else would have laughed at him when he said, "Hey, I'm building a bookstore out of my garage to put online to sell books, and I'm going to be a $100 billionaire someday and have the biggest marketplace in the world." I guarantee you, if he put faith in what everybody else thought, he would not be there today. And so I encourage everyone, work smart, work hard, but work long. Have faith in your acceleration and growth. Don't put faith in what other people want for you.
What about mindset hacks? Like, what are the mindset things would you want to do to stay in that long journey, to stay focused on the path, to be that Gary or you, like their own version, of course, to never give up? Like, what do you recommend?
4 hacks.
Okay.
1, the ultimate mindset of action is gratitude, which will give you perspective.
Yeah.
It'll make your past better, your present even better than that, and your future even brighter. Forgiveness, because you're going to make a ton of mistakes, and you're going to have to not only forgive yourself, but give that forgiveness to others.
Okay.
Because they're going to be hard on you.
Nice.
And in order to exist, you're going to have to forgive other people for attacking you, for saying negative things, projecting their insecurity, right? You're going to have to understand and forgive them. 3 of that first hack is accountability.
Okay.
Everything in your life, you have to tell yourself through that 20-year span, what did I do to attract this to myself, and what am I supposed to learn from it? The world is full of lessons. Since Sanskrit, right? Lessons keep coming until we learn them. You're going to keep on getting the same lessons until you learn them. You're going to forget every lesson that you ever learned, but you have the capability of remembering them. That's the key to lessons. Lessons make every mistake a miracle. That's why accountability is so important, because you take complete control of your life, by attracting what you want and learning from it. Finally, inspiration. That first hack is, okay, where's my point of inspiration? Where's my center? Where's my light? Once we have that first hack, now you can go to the second ask, which is counterintuitive. The second ask is act is ask. The biggest thing you can do in your life is connect to other people and ask for help. So
Yes.
the question I want everyone to learn is, do you know anyone that can help me? If you ask that just one time a day, because most people have about 1,000 followers on average,
Yep.
you'll build your network 30,000 people a month. If you do it 4 times, it'd be 120,000 a month. Imagine if you do it 10 times. Most people don't ever ask for help. In game time decision making, that's what I teach. Is my biggest failure it was ego, not radical humility. If I just would have asked, hey, do you know one can help me? I own all this stuff. What strategy would you execute on? I've never been here before.
Yeah.
I'd be Jeff Bezos, right? Instead of rebuilding myself. So the second hack is ask. The third act is about time, right?
Yeah.
So in essence, I tell people, be a student of your calendar. Most people don't look at their life with a lens of productivity and accessibility. Most people don't realize there's activity you get paid for, activity you don't get paid for. Most people don't ever study the productivity and accessibility of sleep, for example, and it's a third of their life. I spend as much time studying sleep as I do anything else that I do, because not only do I spend about 6 to 7 hours a day doing it, but it also is the most powerful way to connect subconsciously and unconsciously to go shopping.
Okay.
Right? People don't do it. So being a student of your calendar, study your calendar, everything you do in person, on the phone, via email, media, radio, print, TV, social media. Study how productive and accessible. Productivity is how much value am I going to provide. Accessibility is how accessible am I to others to help them, and how am I accessing or shopping for what I want. Finally, the last hack is about presence. I used to be pissed off when all these woo-woo people, manifestation, woo-woo, right? All the other
Secret.
See, right. This one is easy. People would say, Dave, you're so present. I'm like, even in Kung Fu Panda, right? Oh, today is a gift. That's why they call it the present. What the hell did that mean? I'll tell you what it meant. Do it now. You want to live present? Then ask yourself everything that comes up. Can I do it now? And if you can do it now, do it now. And if you can't, then put it in a do it now folder. And when you're a student of your calendar, go ahead, schedule some time for when you go to your do it now folder. Prioritize by what's important. If something's urgent but not important, delegate it to somebody else. Right? Do what's important first.
Yes.
Prioritize it. So my whole life are those 4 hacks, because those 4 hacks provide me acceleration and growth. Acceleration and growth take me from the 10-year to the 5-year to the 2.5-year to a year and a quarter, 3 quarters plan, where I'm 200, 400, 800, 1600% ahead of everybody else.
Love it. Well, before we end this interview, I have to ask one last question about your book, and then we'll talk about what events are coming up. You had Tillman do this forward. Tell us why and what have you learned from him?
So, obviously Warren Moon, my business partner, is from Houston, so I've been a Tillman Fertitta fan, actually studying history, then studying Houston and history. He started with $6,000 of credit.
Wow.
And built, a mega empire. And he did that through, providing value, treating people in the right way, being a value-based leader, and also not giving a shoot about what other people think. You look at all the great leaders out there, they put faith in themselves. They ask for help. That's the number 2 hack I have, right? I'm not against asking for help from anyone, but I am against you putting in faith in what other people want for you. Get advice from them, get help from them, but do not manifest or shop for what other people want. And that's what Tillman Fertitta represented for me. Someone that from the very start put faith in what he wanted, and he ended up owning his hometown basketball team, which there's only 32 of them in the world, right? To be an owner of a basketball team, think about his businesses: Landry's, billions; Golden Nugget Casino, billions; Houston Rocket, billions. How many guys? 3 separate businesses, right? Separate businesses, all multi-billion-dollar businesses.
Yeah.
That's what he's able to do. So we want to get his insight. He's also has a great new TV show, and he's launching a book that's complementary to mine.
Good.
This fall as well.
Okay. Well, first off, thank you again for doing this interview. Really
Anytime.
appreciate it.
We've been friends a long time.
We have been.
I've loved and enjoyed your growth and success, and
Thank you, man.
you're in the acceleration. I know you might only think you're 50 or 70% of the way there, but you are so close. And I'm glad that you're one of the 1% of the 1% that's not going to put faith in other people, but stick to what you want.
Thank you.
And my main message is be kind to your future self. If you want to be one of the Meltzer 1,000 to empower others, be happy, please reach me at David Meltzer, or LinkedIn David Meltzer, or YouTube David Meltzer, or just Google David Meltzer. Come and find me. I'm here to be of service and to help you.
What events do you have this coming week?
Tomorrow, right after the show now, I got the OC Roundtable.
Okay.
I speak around the world. I do meetups all over.
Okay.
And, I'm literally traveling to Australia and Fiji, New York, Arizona. I got the Gym Guys at a national convention, which I'm excited about as well. But just go ahead and go to dmeltzer.com, my first initial last name. There's a schedule of 3 or 4 things I'm doing every week. I am the chairman of Unstoppable Foundation, as well as the chief chancellor of Junior Achievement University, with Brian Tracy and Jack Canfield and Margaret Victor Hansen and Sharon Lecter and all these great people that have provided all their information for young entrepreneurs.
Amazing. Thanks, brother.
Thank you, Ash.
All right, man, we're done. That was
Good.
a breeze.
Nice.
By fast. By good, right?
Can I have you send me that audio?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, let me know when your next OC event is. I'm not.
Yeah,
I got my
might
show in
be
the
in
evenings.
August.
That's why I can't.
No problem.
But
Next week.
if you need like a moderator, like to do an interview at your events, let me know. I'm happy to interview you. And
That'd be awesome.